on how to build an emotional relationship with the Imam of our time. And as we mentioned last night, there is no doubt the Imam of our time is waiting for us to be ready. The question is, are we ready or not? And so all our discussions are to help and equip us with those practical mechanisms on how to build solid and strong relationship with the Imam. The verse I've just quoted is part of the verse. Quran 27, verse 62. It's a very powerful verse. Surah An-Naml. This verse, I have no doubt all of us know this verse. As whenever a person is not well or battling with his or her life, we always be requested to recite 5 times of this verse. أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ. You know, this verse is a rhetorical question that Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala is asking. Is there anyone out there who responds to the one who is distressed and relieve him of his difficulties and pains? Certainly there is no one there but Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Now, departing from this verse, the topic of tonight is to look at the best ways to build a relationship that can guarantee my closeness to the Imam of my time. You see, brothers, and of course our sisters who are watching online, the Imam of our time is close to us. The question is, are we close to the Imam? So what I seek to discuss tonight is to help us embark on that journey of seeking closeness to the Imam, because he is our Imam. We do not have any Imam during this time apart from this great Imam. And hence it's inspiring to see a lot of us youth attending this program. The examination of tonight is of the following stages. The first stage, we'll discuss this verse. أَمَّا يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ. Second stage of the examination, we'll look at the ways to approach the occultation of our Imam. Remember last night, we looked at some of the secrets and the essence of a ghaiba or occultation, and some of the benefits I and you derive from the occultation of our Imam. So second stage, we look at how do I approach the whole concept and idea of a ghaiba or occultation of my beloved Imam. And then the last stage of the examination is when, inshallah, I will invite one and all to pay maximum attention and look at what is it that I and you can do to build that strong relationship with the Imam. At the end of the day, my dear brothers, it is not just believing in Imam. It's not just appreciating that Imam is alive. More importantly, in addition to this, is what is it that I can do personally and what we can do collectively towards the Imam of our time. So the first stage is this ayah. You all know this ayah, my dear brothers and sisters. أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ. The key and technical word in this ayah is mudtar. Mudtar, simply translated as someone who is distressed. There are two opinions as to the meaning of the word mudtar. Kindly pay attention, brothers and sisters. The first meaning, Mufassirin discuss it, like the way we looked at the terminology Baqiyatullah last night. Some of the scholars hold the view that Muttar here refers to someone who tries everything to overcome his or her challenge, and still he is unable to overcome the challenge, then resort to Allah. Al-Munkati'u ila Allah Azza wa Jal. So that's the first meaning of Muttar. Like a person who has issues or challenges in his or her life. Tries this solution, not budging. Try that solution, not working. Try the other solution, not working. Then eventually the person decides to say, you know what? I'm going to resort to Allah. First meaning they said, that is what Muttar is all about. The second meaning is what is my interests. Because it has to do with these three series of the majalis we have. This second meaning, we get it from our two beloved Imams. Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam and Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. These two Imams explain to us what Mudtar or the distressed one is all about. Let's look at the riwayah from Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam. Where do we get this riwayah from? From his beloved companion by the name Muhammad ibn Muslim. This companion of Imam said, we ask Imam as to the meaning of Muttar. You know what Imam said? Imam said the word Muttar refers to Imam al-Muntadhar. Refers to the 12th Imam. That when he reappears, he will put on his turban. After putting on his turban, he will make dua. And immediately he finish the dua, Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala will accept. Because that dua is dua ul-Muttar. Likewise, we have a tradition from Salih ibn Uqba or Aqaba, from Imam Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salam, that the word Muttar here refers to Imam al-Muntadhar. That when our beloved Imam reappears in the holy city of Mecca, he will offer 2 rak'at salah between the black stone and Maqam Ibrahim. Thereafter, Imam will make dua. That dua is dua ul-Muttar. A dua which has no barrier with the acceptance of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. So therefore, whenever we are requested to recite, for example, 5 times Amman Yujibul Muttar, we should remember this is the dua we are borrowing from the Imam of our time. When Imam reappears to administer justice on earth, Imam will make dua ul-Mudtar, dua of someone who has completely resorted to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. So that's first stage. Now second stage, how do I approach the whole concept of ghaibah? So many times our youth ask this question. But Imam is in ghaibah. I do not see Imam. I do not feel Imam. How do I approach it? You remember last night I indicated something briefly. The ghaibah of Imam is what they call ghaibatun unwani, not ghaibatun an izali. You remember? Imam is not absent. Imam is present. Imam is not away from I and you. What we do not know, remember, is the whereabouts of the Imam. He may be here sitting next to you. He may be sitting next to me. He may be somewhere in Sydney, in the United Kingdom. But Imam is around. He's alive. So this is the first perception we need to build. That our Imam is alive. In fact, one tradition tells us he is married and he has families. And one of his houses is Masjid al-Sahla, that we are told in the narrations. Every Tuesday, Imam visits Masjid al-Sahla in the holy city of Kufa. So Imam is alive. The more we appeal to Allah to release our Imam, the better we stand, the better chance we stand to connect with the Imam of our time. Now there are two ways. Kindly, I beg you, pay attention to this, to approach the whole concept of ghaib. First way is not a good way. The second way is the most important. What's the first way? Is to think that Imam is not next to me. I don't see him. I don't feel him. I'm not going to do anything. If I'm alive and he appears, I do something. If I'm not alive, then that's wrong. Don't assume Imam like a friend or a family member who has traveled, and during his or a journey, you do nothing until the person comes back. That's not what the concept of a ghaiba is all about. This is what scholars, they call, this is materialistic way of looking at the concept of a ghaiba. The other way, which is important, which I want to really invite you to look at, is ittijah ruhi. So the first one, ittijah Mahdi, but this one is ittijah ruhi. The spiritual way of approaching the concept of ghaiba. How do I approach the entire concept of ghaiba spiritually? Is to have this view in your mind that Imam is a set of qiyam and fada'il. It's a set of values. Whether you see Imam or not, the teachings of Imam reach you. Whether you see Imam or not, Imam's role of protecting the religion is to my benefit, is to your benefit. So we need to build that mindset. We need to build that belief. Imam may be physically next to me and he may not be physically next to me, but it doesn't change the role of my Imam towards me. It's what they call ittijah ruhi. Now, is it possible to meet Imam or not? It's a very powerful discussion in our Shi'i theology. There is no doubt that it is possible to meet Imam. But yes, meeting him physically is not that easy. But it's possible. There were great scholars who met Imam. But it's not easy. It needs a lot of work. And it needs tawfiq of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. The fact that it is not easy and simple for one to meet Imam physically doesn't mean that you cannot get somewhere when it comes to meeting your Imam. What can I do if I cannot meet him physically? I can be overwhelmed by his presence. Be overwhelmed by the fact that Imam is in existence. You become overwhelmed. Like we all sitting here when it is announced that a great personality, prominent figure, say in Shia world is coming to visit you. Say one Ayatollah. You will become overwhelmed, isn't it? You'll become overwhelmed. I will take an example. Say they announce here, said Sistani is visiting you tomorrow in Perth. One way or the other, you become overwhelmed. Why? Because this is a great scholar. I trust him. I believe in him. I benefit from him. What of being overwhelmed when it comes to the presence of the Imam of our time? That is the simplest way of meeting the Imam. You feel that I am missing him. Whenever you feel that you miss the Imam, rest assured, you are on your way towards building strong connection with the Imam of our time. Now look at the next stage, which is the very important one. What do I do to be overwhelmed by the presence of my Imam? In other words, what practical tips should I put in place, should I consider when it comes to building relationship with my Imam so that I miss him from time to time? Because it feels painfully when I don't miss Imam at all. When I spend the whole year and I do not miss this Imam, it's painful. It's like you have a son or a daughter, and your son and daughter looks at you and say, you know what, when you travel for 1 year, I never miss you. How do you feel? Or you have a brother and a sister, and you're not living together for quite a long time. The day you meet, the person tells you, know what, I never missed you. How do you feel? It's painful. So that is why it's important we all try our level best to play our part. Now, you see, if you look at this gathering, majority of us here are youth, which makes it more exciting. But not only more exciting, which dictate the fact that we need to do more at this stage of our lives. Because you see, every individual has 3 stages to his or her life. The first stage is childhood stage. At one point, most of us here were children, like most of those who are sitting in the middle. The second stage is youthful stage. Youthful stage is the most sensitive stage of the life of every individual. Whatever you want to achieve in life, it starts at that youthful stage. You miss it, you will chew your finger, you'll regret. Childhood stage depends on how the parent raise their children. That's a separate discussion. We'll look at it tomorrow, inshallah. But youthfulness is a very sensitive stage. That one is expected to build his life at this stage. That is why psychologists, they define this stage as a stage of productivity and creativity. So a youth is expected to be productive and to be creative. And hence you realize, when Allah sent our beloved prophet to the world, you know what he said? He said, Inna Allah ba'athani bil haqqi bashiran wa nadhira. Fahalafani shababu wa khalafani shuyukhu. That Allah sent me with this message to warn and give good news. But when I started propagating and disseminating the message, the youth accepted me. And the older generation rejected me. So it doesn't mean that older generation did not accept the Holy Prophet. But those who accepted him quicker were the youth. To tell us that any youth, like mashallah, some of the good youth we have here, if you are determined, if you are committed, you will achieve success, not only in your life in this world, but when it comes to your relationship with Allah through Ahlul Bayt. Likewise, look at the life of Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen. Majority of the companions of Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen were youth. Yes, there were old generations also, but majority were youth who stood alongside Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullah alayh, and they supported him. Companions like Salman al-Farisi, for example, they were all young and youth. Come to the time of Imam al-Hussein. We all love Karbala. Majority of the companions of Imam al-Hussein were youth. Likewise, the prophets of Allah, Musa alayhi salam, Quran tells us, those who followed him, most of them were young. Nuh alayhi salam, with all the difficulties. Those who did not believe in Nuh, they will look at Nuh and those around it and they will laugh and say, you know what, Nuh? Only youth and young ones are around you who are not matured. So why am I mentioning this? I'm mentioning this to encourage you and encourage myself. That if we are determined to build the relationship with the Imam of our time, we should be able to do so. I do not see any barrier that I cannot build the relationship with my Imam to such an extent I feel his presence and I miss my Imam. Now look at some practical tips. And please reflect on these practical tips. And try, I beg you, if you can implement some of these tips. Wallah, it will help you to build that strong relationship with the Imam. First practical tip. Purity of our hearts. What do I mean by that? We need to love one another. We need to respect one another. We need to take care of one another. And Quran makes it very clear. ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا. We're asking Allah to forgive us, but not just to forgive us. Ya Allah, do not make us have any resentment towards those who believe in Allah. In other words, on a first level, anyone who wants to build a relationship with the Imam, they must love each other. We cannot hate each other. We cannot undermine each other. We cannot disrespect each other. We cannot ridicule each other. All of us, when we stand together to recite the dua of Imam al-Hujjah, we do it together. So Imam expects us, the way we do this dua together, we should also love each other. We will not be able to build any relationship with our Imam if we do not have each other's back. Your pain must be my pain, and my pain must be your pain. Your happiness must be my happiness, and the other way around. So that's the first practical tip. I need to have a clean heart towards my brothers and towards my sisters. I need to wish my brothers well and my sisters, and they should also wish the same for me. That's number one. Number two practical tip. At-taharatu min adh-dhunub. We cannot build any relationship with our Imam so long as we continue to commit sins intentionally. Any sin one commit intentionally takes him or her away from getting closer to the Imam of our time. And that is why we have a tradition from this great Imam, the 12th Imam, that if it wasn't of the sins of our Shias, they would have seen us with their eyes. So young and old, we need to try in whatever way possible to stay away from sins, to stay away from standing or going contrary to the teachings of Almighty Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. Anyone who commits sin intentionally will be deprived of the taste of meeting the Imam and building relationship with our Imam. And as youth, wallah, if you are determined, like the way I saw in some of you that I interacted with, you will find it very easy to build relationship with the Imam of your time. So that's number 2. Sin, stay away from it. Number 3, do act of charity in the name of the 12th Imam. Any act of kindness, any act of charity. You know, the Holy Prophet mentions, tahadu tahabu. Give charity, give gifts, and you will build love. Here, I want to build the relationship with the Imam. I'm young. I want to feel my Imam. I want to miss my Imam. You know what you need to do? Do some work of charity. Typical example. You can say, I'm going to serve in the mosque or in the center because there is a program. But I am doing it in the name of Imam Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman. By so doing, you build a relationship with the Imam. No. You can offer 2 rak'at salah. Say these 2 rak'at salah should be a gift for the Imam of my time. No. You happen to go for ziyarah, either ziyaratul arba'iniyah or any other ziyarah. Say, you know what? This ziyarah is for my beloved Imam. Oh no, in your business. He said, part of this business is for the Imam of my time. Whenever you undertake any act of goodness or act of kindness in the name of your Imam, you build a relationship with the Imam. Like, you know, I'm sure, if not all of you, most of you, you heard of who is Hussein. Who is Hussein is an organization in London. It started by a few youth. I know them very well. Youth. In the name of Sayyid al-Shuhada. Now, who is Hussein is in more than 60 countries across the globe. So the same way we need someone to start something in the name of Imam Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman. When you do something in the name of the Imam, what are you doing? You build a relationship with the Imam of your time. And it's so important, it's so powerful. No, you can take care of an orphan. Said, I am taking care of this orphan in the name of Imam. You know, we live in these countries in the West where majority are non-Muslims. You can go out there and do any act of charity and say, this charity, we are doing it in the name of our beloved 12th Imam. Because Mahdism is about giving voice to voiceless. It's about giving hope to hopeless. So whenever we do something in the name of this great personality who is bringing hope to hopeless and voice to voiceless, people find it appealing. That's number 3. Do something in the name of the Imam. Number 4 practical tip is to imagine Imam. Tasawwurul Imam. How do I imagine my Imam? It's by holding on to Ziyaratu Ali Yasin. I'm sure you heard of Ziyaratu Ali Yasin. When you read this ziyarah, not just reading, but reading the ziyarah with meanings, it puts you in a mood of imagining your Imam. And if you read the ziyarah, you'll come across so many lines. Assalamu alayka hina taqum wa hina taq'ud. For example, hina taraka wa hina tasjud. Ziyarah to Ali Yasin, next thing to build relationship is knowledge. Knowledge. Knowledge is power. Ahlul Bayt are the epitomes of knowledge. I cannot claim to be a good Shia without knowledge. I need to keep learning. Alayhi salawat. See, Imam Ali said, people of knowledge are of two types. And ignorance are of two types. Kindly understand this, and you will appreciate the power of knowledge. Let's start with the people of knowledge. It's very simple, that one. It's not complicated. He said the first type of the people of knowledge is that there are those who know, and they know that they know. They have the knowledge, so they know they have the knowledge. No big deal. The second type of the people of knowledge are those who know, but they don't know that they know. They have the knowledge, but maybe because of a humbleness or whatever, they don't know that they know. That's okay. The next is the two types of the people of ignorance or ignorance. The first type of the ignorance is what? They are those who don't know, and they know that they don't know. They don't have the knowledge. So they go to the mosque, they come to Tuwalfa, they go to the Afghani center, they go to the other centers, Pakistani center. They go and learn. You know, the danger is the last one. They don't know, and they don't know that they don't know. They call Jahilu Murakkab, compound ignorant. They don't have the knowledge, but they don't know that they don't have the knowledge. They cause the trouble. So when they come majlis, they don't take it serious because they think they know it all. When they are taught, they don't take it serious because they know it all. They don't pay maximum attention. And when they meet people, they talk to people, they start giving their own fatwas. These are compound ignorance. They don't know, and they don't know that they don't know. So you want to build the relationship with your Imam, you need to strive for knowledge. Today there are people out there who claim to be Shias, who claim to have knowledge, and they are going about misleading people. They are going about spreading false information and claiming to represent Ahlul Bayt. So no doubt our youth are exposed to so many threats in this day and age. And hence, having majalis programs like this help us to equip one another, especially our youth, with the authentic knowledge from Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Seek knowledge, my dear brothers and sisters. Ahlul Bayt, salamullah alayhim ajma'in, encouraged their companions and their lovers and followers to strive for knowledge. You know why? Because when it comes to knowledge acquisition, there is no time limit. You know the tradition very well from the Holy Prophet. Knowledge is from the cradle to the grave. There is no time limit. Anytime you can acquire knowledge. Likewise, when it comes to knowledge acquisition, there is no space limit. If you don't find knowledge this program, you go somewhere find knowledge. So therefore, my dear youth, my dear brothers and sisters, the school of thought of Ahlul Bayt is a school of knowledge. The more you acquire knowledge about Ahlul Bayt, salamullah alayhim, the more you are able to build relationship with the Imam of our time. A last practical tip in conclusion. التعلم بألم الإمام is to feel the pain of Imam Hassan. You remember last night I mentioned 3 pains. Now we have duties towards those pains. I need to feel the pain of Imam. How? When you see atrocities across the globe, when you witness injustices across the globe, when you witness innocent people losing their lives, feel that pain. Because my Imam and your Imam is in pain. You see someone being killed innocently in a cruel and injustice way. You cannot fold your arms. You can't. When you do so, it means you've not understood the entire concept of Mahdism. So you want to build relationship with Imam? Feel the pain of it. Thousands of lives that have been lost in this world. Be rest assured, Imam al-Zaman is not happy. And he wants you as Shias, to play your part. Even if it's in a very small way, when it comes to promoting justice. Failing to do so, then one may not regard or cannot regard himself as a true follower and muntadhir of our beloved, the 12 Imam. So in conclusion, brothers and sisters, let us try our level best. As I mentioned yesterday, it is not too late. We can all play our parts. You know, if I look at the youth around here, all the youth, I want to just listen to this point. But tomorrow I will expound on this more. You are blessed. And you are lucky. And I'll tell you why before I take my set. The reason why I'm saying you are blessed and lucky, because, Alhamdulillah, you were all born Shia. I wasn't born a Shia. Tomorrow I have a discussion on Islamic identity. I'll discuss more on that. I wasn't born a Shia. I became Shia after 20s. Struggled a lot. At one point, there was no food to eat. That's why when I see a lot of youth, it makes me happy. Struggled. Not me alone. There are millions of Shias out there who, just because of becoming Shia, struggle. There are places in this world you don't have majlis like this. You don't have centers. During Shahr Muharram, I know places where people will travel for 3 hours just for majlis. I know places where there is no electricity, nothing, candle. People will sit tightly next to each other just to do something for Ahl. When I see like this, it makes me happy. But I would like to encourage you. I wasn't born a Shia. But today I'm sitting here and preaching and teaching the school of thought of Ahl. Which simply means if all of you can be determined, you will do better than me. Mothers breastfed you with the milk of the love of Imam al-Hussein. The poet mentioned, La adhaballahu ummi, sharibat hubb al-wasi. May Allah never punish my mom because she was fed and got drunk with the love of the wasi, meaning the love of Imam Amir al-Mu'minin. And that love she transferred into me by breastfeeding me. So all of you were breastfed by ladies, the lovers and the followers of Ahl al-Bayt. Be determined and take it seriously. When you become determined and you take it seriously, Allah, you will see the level of your success. Allah will open the doors for you. So dear youth, sometimes things can be tough. sometimes things can become discouraging. Don't get discouraged. Look at me as an example. Don't get discouraged. Be fighting a positive way to become an ambassador of the school of thought of art. As I said, tomorrow, my topic will be to discuss the crisis of identity crisis, which I will connect it with the importance of identity and waiting for the reappearance of the Imam. Because what is expected of us is to be proud of being Shias, not to be ashamed of telling the world, I am the Shia of Ali. How do I become proud of that? We'll discuss it too. May Allah forgive us. And we pray, inshallah, those who are not well, may Allah cure them. It is cure, inshallah. One of our brothers requested me to pray that his grandmom critical. We pray with the barakat, ayatul mubarakah. Let's recite it 5 times. Allah make it easy for the grandmom and all those who are not well, inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Together. ويكشف السوء ويكشف السوء اضطر إذا دعا ويكشف السوء اضطر إذا دعا ويكشف صلوات